All right, guys. So it wasn't really a U-shaped dip so much, but in any case, there's this drop at the end of the day as expected. So hopefully people got into that short position here early in the day at that peak. Hopefully they didn't get scared out at this peak midday. Sharp drop after that, sideways rotation attempting to establish support. And then it looks like we probably go lower into the close. And it wasn't nullified. It was nullified, so that makes sense. And we opened roughly the same as expected, roughly the same, slightly higher, but roughly the same. And it looks like we really were just slightly higher by the time we exited out of the uh, pre-market. Yeah, so this was the fake out here. This was the devil card. We had this kind of like flat, almost flat kind of chart behavior going on with the peace card and the truce card, and then it's about 12:30. Peak or crest that we sell off from into a low. And in this case, it looks like it's just a really scary low rather than it being a. Oh, it is a fake out because what's happening is we're made to believe that this is the bottom because of the sideways rotation attempting to establish support, but we end up going lower. I think this is probably the fake out right here. What's going on? And remember, at the high we had sideways behavior at the high. We should have sideways behavior at the low, based on these. But there's a sharp drop in that period of sideways rotation that takes us into the low. So we probably see a lower price level if you're just hopping on. Probably see a lower price level into the close. I would definitely use the opportunity and move into the close to the downside to exit out of a short position if you did enter into it at the beginning of the day. Hopefully you didn't get scared out midday. Hey AV, hey Karthikeyan. Hey Tibraze. Hey Carolyn. Hey Mirdula. Can I provide stock guidance on next week earnings for Baba, UPST, TWLO? All right, so we're going to look at earnings for Baba, UPST, TWLO for next week. Baba's earnings next week. What's the result of their earnings? The Chariot card. My notes say... I'm pretty sure that's a beat, but let's just double check. Nothing on there. So I'd say that's a beat. And the market's reaction in relation to the earnings result for Baba is there's a sharp peak, there's a peak that we sell off pretty sharply from. So we probably have a little bit of a move to the upside and then a sharp move to the downside on Baba. Man, Mercury retrograde is all up my ass today. All sorts of technical issues. And I have to sneeze. Sorry, guys. I wanted to take a look at Baba. All right, so Baba's earnings next week. We have a bit of a rally after the earnings results, which should be a beat. There's a bit of a rally to the upside, creating a peak, and then a sharp sell off from that peak. That's Baba's earnings. And then the next one was UPST. That's a significant move, guys. We broke through a diagonal trend there. UPST. What will be the earnings result for UPST next week? A definitive beat, Ace of Wands. But that's also, again, one of those moves to the upside that most likely offers opportunity to open up a short position in the midst of it. What's the market reaction to the earnings result for UPST? It's a pop and drop, so it makes a lot of sense. And then TWLO. TWLO's earnings next week. What will be the earnings result? Oof, unicursal, interesting. Unicursal. That's hard to say. I've never seen unicursal come up as an earnings result. It may very well be that it misses. It could be a miss. The result, hard to say, guys. But the result, the chart behavior result of their earnings, out of a decline, big move to the upside from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. On the 7th for SPY. All right, so this is definite sideways rotation going on here. We should see a sharp drop that'll stand out in this sideways rotation. Yeah, so likely we open lower on the 7th. See, we revisit a support level here around the open with sideways rotation and a sharp drop in that period of sideways rotation that takes us to the revisiting of a support level. We probably open The Prince of Swords is one of those cards that can go in either direction. But I think based on the 1 month, we probably open lower. There, in the pre-market, there should be a rally that ends with a fast sudden move higher and then a breakdown through the diagonal trend line that it was rallying across and take us into sideways rotation around the open. Interesting. And the strength card on the 1 month, kind of that energy kind of overlaps there in the morning. But I think a pretty bullish day overall. I would advise not to chase the low. Like if there's a decline first thing in the morning or like off of a peak or crest in the pre-market, there's a decline. I would advise not to chase that decline. There's going to be a significant move to the upside here the following day. So we may open significantly lower on Monday. That's the one thing, matter of fact, that you can be certain of when you see the Prince of Swords card is that there's going to be a lot of price change covered. That's almost a certainty. There's no certainties, but it's like 90-something% of the time. Hey, Proof, is the low in for BTC? I'll get to that in just one moment. Will QQQ open lower on Monday? Wow. This clairkinetically came to me that we were just talking about the Prince of Swords, but let me do it one more time just to be on the safe side. Does QQQ open lower on Monday morning, this coming Monday? Time I get a new deck here. This one's getting really bent out of shape. Yeah, I see us opening lower in QQQ as well. Wouldn't be surprised if we open like at one of these, like at this support level, or excuse me, at this moving average here. This is the 50-day moving average. I wouldn't be surprised. It kind of puts us at our next major support right around that level. Huh, interesting. It's a pretty mixed day. It's definitely a pretty mixed day, but out of the low, there's a breakout to the upside. This was a tough one to determine where the high was. But I think the high's probably at the end of the day after the low. Well, maybe not actually. Where is that high? There's a lot going on here. No barking, Hermes. Yeah, there's a pretty I think there's a pretty sick trade in here. So around the low here tomorrow, you should close. If we gap down, you should close out of a short position here, and then at the low tomorrow, we'll probably do like some upward and then back down to a low here in the towards the end of the day. At that low, it might be a little earlier than end of the day, but somewhere like maybe early afternoon. After we revisit a crest within a period of erratic behavior and then like this attempt to establish support, we should see a low and then a big move out of the low, like a breakout move out of the low. If you can get in at that into a long position when we do that sideways rotation after we revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity, sideways rotation, there's a trade opportunity in there, sideways rotation around the low. You could open that position. It's probably a pretty big move to the upside the following day. Or maybe even into the end of the day. It's hard to say. It's like really mixed. We may have like another trough on the cusp of the 7th, 8th. I'm already in October for the S&P. All right, so for Bitcoin, did we bottom out here? Oof, oof, what a move. That's that ruin there. I think it's a temporary bottom. Yes, we have a pretty notable move higher um, after this kind of like sharp drop here, which is selling from a peak, like a near overbought peak, selling down through multiple supports, and that's that ruin right there. So we should have a move out of that into the probably into the 5th, maybe into the 6th, but I think probably just into the 5th, and that would be opportunity to open up a short and exit along. We see the low. We see a low one more time towards around the 11th before we start getting into like more bullish behavior. That low might actually be lower. Hard to say. I got prudence for that question, so hard to say if it's lower or not. It's probably the same. Does it make sense? Hey Conrad, does it make sense to long Amazon on the 7th and close on the 9th? Guys, couple things changing on the website. So we now on YouTube, by the way. Well, let me finish this Amazon one and then I'll get into it. That's me having ADD. Where did that Amazon? Here we go. And the question was, does it make sense to long Amazon on the 7th and close on the 9th? It's pretty mixed. Pretty mixed there. I probably wouldn't risk it. It's a risky maneuver because you've got a really sharp drop between the 8th and the 9th. After a big move out of a decline from the bottom of a range to the top of a range, there's a big drop and then bullish behavior and then a lot of price change on the 10th. So like that'll be a hard one not to get scared out of, is my sense. Can I determine what time is the big move to the upside on Monday for SPY? It's really uncanny. The influence of Mercury retrograde started here on the second, right there, guys. Look at that move, like uncanny. So where's the big move on Monday? So there's a pretty big move early in the day, like the end, like late morning session. There's a couple pretty big moves actually. So there's a big move. It looks like around 10 o'clock, maybe a little later, and then another big move around 11:30 ish. We revisit a crest out of that move. In the midst of some erratic behavior midday, and then there should be a interesting. I don't know if this is going to be a low. No, it's probably, yeah, it'll probably be the low. So we may have a high here midday, and then go into like a notable decline to, like, in the midst of this erratic behavior, we go into a notable decline to a trough, like a prominent trough, or maybe a low for the day, somewhere in the early morning around like probably like between 1 and 2:30, probably around 2, but somewhere between 1 and 2:30. We'll do sideways rotation, attempting to establish support, and that'll be right after a bunch of erratic behavior back and forth, in which we revisit a crest, which may be the high for the day. Either that, or out of this trough, we have such a big move that we have a high at the end of the day. That could be the case too. It's a little unclear because we have a low correlator at the end of the day too, so it's pretty mixed stuff going on. We might have some crazy price swings. And really, that's also what happens. You start to see more ground covered, more volatility, more price swings. And as you move forward towards the Mercury retrograde station date, which is on the 23rd at 2:54 p.m. So if the 23rd is a trade day, we should see a notable reversal around 3 o'clock. If it's a trading day, if the 23rd is a trading day. Like, we didn't see a notable reversal for this one on the 3rd because it took place outside of market hours. But as we move forward to this 23rd, volatility, price change, price swings all become more and more frequent in less amount of times. Like, the frequency becomes much more like narrow, and you get like a lot more of this on the chart as you move forward towards this date. And then it kind of like starts to ease up as you move into this time period, and then it starts to speed up again as you move to here, and then it slows down gradually again as you move to here, to the end of the retrograde period. And theoretically, in most cases, it's not all cases, but in most cases, what the chart behavior that happens in this yellow band will repeat itself in this yellow band. Not exact, but pretty close. The prisoners are throwing poop again. Ugh. Appreciate it, AV. Glad it worked out. CHZ for the weekend. Okay. Okay, so the 23rd is a Wednesday. We should see a reversal there. Let's see what's on the 23rd real quick. Normally I have it marked on the 1 month, but I forgot to do that. We have a lowest low like right before the 23rd. Excuse me. Yeah, see, we're picking up steam as we go now, guys. So if you've got a good profit, guys, from opening a short position here in the midst of this rally at the beginning of the day, if you got a good profit now, it wouldn't be a bad time to take a day trade and close out. This is a risky card to have as the relativity card for the following open, because it could go either way. Looking at the 1 month, it looks like we've got a pretty significant drop, but it's risky. If you've got good profits, it might make sense to take them if if you're more of a conservative trader. If you're more of a speculative trader, I would say probably wait until Monday morning. I'm being advised to trade at the end of the day here on the 4th, and then start a new trade, which is a long position, on the 7th. The SPC isn't up on the website for August? Yikes. I gotta just make sure I message somebody about that. All right, so CHZ. For the weekend, CHZ. Saturday. It's looking kind of like a flat on Saturday. There may be a resistance level highlighted, but it's looking pretty flat on Saturday. And then notable move lower on Sunday, creating multiple resistance, new resistance on the way down. That was CHZ, ANKR. Saturday, we have a sideways fluctuating rally that precedes a decline. And it looks like that sideways fluctuating rally takes us to an overbought peak or crest that we sell off through multiple support levels from on Sunday. Robert, FedEx driver. Hey Jerry, what should we expect for the 7th or the 8th on SPC? Appreciate it, AV. SPC. And the question was, what can we expect on the 7th and the 8th? So we're looking at lowest lows, very likely the lowest lows for SPC for the month of August, and then we start going bullish from here. Out of a decline on the 7th, we should have a fast sudden move higher towards the end of the day, marking the end of that decline and taking us to a prominent peak or crest, out of the lowest low to a prominent peak or crest. And it'll most likely be a failed attempt to break through, like a disappointing failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support back to a lowest low on the 8th. So in the midst of that fast sudden move higher on the 7th, you could probably open up a short and close the short on in the morning on the 8th after the failed attempt to break through key resistance and the decline through key support. You could also close a short trade if you opened up a short trade here towards the end of the day. Really not much of a move there. Interesting. I don't see this horse playing out, so my sense is maybe... No, I don't think that's the case. I think this is probably... today was a good opportunity, maybe earlier in the day, to open up a short in anticipation of these lows on the 7th, 8th. You're welcome, Proof. So is a 1 day long on Doge from the 5th to the 6th still viable? So we attempt to establish support here. This only goes to the 2nd. That's weird. So there was that big move there early on the 2nd. Push to the upside there, trying to establish support. I wonder why it's not showing me. That's so weird. Alright, well, it shows it to me here. Yeah, probably actually, Carolyn. In the morning, if we're like at a low, like a really significant low, possibly a lowest low thus far in the morning on the 5th, I would say that's a signal to get into, provided there's been a sharp drop into that low. I would say that's a signal to get into a long position, and you could close that long position either on the cusp of the 5th, 6th, or more lucratively towards the end of the day on the 6th. Hey, thanks, Karthikeyan. Really appreciate it, my man. Um, SPC's got a flight on the 10th. Can I pull a card for how it would go? You are a legend. Appreciate it, Tabriz. Not having the best day today, so it's nice to hear things like that. Also nice to see $20 tip. That's pretty cool. Appreciate it, my man. Um, all right, so we're pulling a card. Where did it go? Did the SPC question disappear? That's so weird. I think it disappeared. Well, it was how's the flight go on the 10th? So let's see. Nice. I got the Queen of Wands. This is a really bullish card. It's auspicious. So I would say it goes pretty well. Is will Optisis and B Fly Soft KR stocks, Korean stocks, move higher next week? All right, let's see. Optisis. What's the overall trend direction of Optisis for next week? Out of a decline, a fast, sudden move higher, marking the end of the decline. The Knight of Cups is usually more bullish than bearish. It's like the end of a decline. And B Fly Soft. What's the overall trend direction for B Fly Soft next week? Failed attempt to break through, so it's going to look like we're going to break through a resistance level, and instead we decline through support. So that one's looking bearish. That was the disappointment card for B Fly Soft for next week. Does it make sense to long SHIB on the 5th and close on the 13th? What is going on here? What is it doing? All right, after this one, I'm going to just talk about a couple things, and then I'll get back to the questions. I don't want to forget about it. All right, so the question, long SHIB on the 5th, close on the 13th. I think so. I would probably open up a partial position on the 5th, and then like maybe like 50% of a position on the 5th. And then if there's another opportunity on the 6th, I'd open up 25%. And then no, I'd open up, I probably open up 50% on the 5th. Um, there'll be a decline on a 1 day scale that ends with a fast sudden move higher. So if you can get into that long position before the fast sudden move higher, if you miss the opportunity, wait till the ninth. And this is where I would say add the other 50% of the position on the ninth. Could be lower than the fifth. Might not be, though. It probably is, though. In which case, if you open up 50% there, you'll be happy, and then sell it on the 13th, on the 12th, 13th. I'd probably do it on the 12th, actually. The completion of a rally on a 1 day scale, and there'll be like a important support level on like a 1 year scale that's highlighted around that time. If it's not a highest high on the 12th, it'll be on the 13th, but I think it's probably on the 12th. All right. All right, proof. I'll take your XRP, and then I want to tell you guys about all these cool changes. I just did the XRP October reading today. I just recorded it. Man, that didn't end up being anywhere near the high. The high was here on the first. That Ace of Wands most likely was the high. And then a high at the end of the month, sort of. It's XRP's looking really mixed. There's quite a few sharp drops. Like this on the second and third was Unicursal Energies. And you can see we've gone down from there. We didn't have much of a move to the upside here today, which when something like that happens, it usually indicates a really strong downtrend or overarching trend, if you will. What's the question? What do you want to know about XRP? So guys, we have a new member level on YouTube. Let's see. Investor Profits Court. Access to private Discord. So it's there, guys. We got a Discord set up. And then what else? We're also doing monthly Amazon and monthly Amazon and monthly Google readings now on a monthly basis for the most part, but they're not going to be individually, they're not offered individually. The only way to get the paid version of those is going to be through the all paid monthly predictions, but there's Amazon and Google on the monthly list now as well. And we also discontinued from a monthly standpoint doing Sol and Gold. They're just Sol. There's not enough interest, and Gold is just, for the most part, it's not volatile enough of a stock to do a day by day, or excuse me, of a investment vehicle to do day by day chart behavior. It's something Gold can be covered with a 1 year very, very well, very effectively. So we discontinued Gold and Sol on a monthly basis, just letting you guys know. This is probably the last month that those come out. All right, cool. Proof. Glad I helped out. A personal question: when will your portfolio get back to 2022 highs? In November of 2022, in one of the live sessions that I did, I'm pretty sure, I haven't found it because there's so many of them, but I'm pretty sure right around that time, I'm certain right around that time on one of the lives, it was like, this is the last opportunity you're going to have you for a major downturn in the stock market. And basically that's what we had from that point. It wasn't the last opportunity. It was the second to last opportunity. There was one more opportunity, I think the next day or a day after, and then it's been downhill since. So when do you get back to those 2022 highs? I got the Prince of Wands. From a timing standpoint, between July and August, so that's probably of next year. Or something really crazy happens in the next few days. That's possible too. But it'll be within that time frame, like, or that window of time. Do I see Ethereum go to 9,000 in 2024? Ethereum's one of the ones I was most bullish about. Let's look at the 10-year for Ethereum. Yeah, so there's a pop and drop here in 2023. Rally that in 2022, a rally that increases with momentum moving forward in time, and then there should be a pop and drop, and it gets pretty mixed in 2024, but there's a high at a key resistance in 2025. It goes really high in the last 3 years of this reading. It goes pretty high. It may very well have its all-time high in this period of time based on the science card, but the science card is, however, nullified too, so it's a little interesting. Doubtful that we see that in 2024. Oh, I was looking at XRP. Yikes. That's more like it. So a rally that increases with the momentum. We haven't seen a pop and drop yet, but we should see a pop and drop. This was probably the trough that I was picking up on here, right on the edge of 2023. And there's like a pop and drop. It gets mixed. Look at that, like sideways S formation, and then we have a high near resistance. We probably get up into like the 5,000 range around 2025. I actually got a yes for 2024, 9,000. That's pretty crazy. Hey, Joe, appreciate it. Appreciate it, Carolyn. All right, guys, I'm going to cut off the questions here. But as far as the year, it's possible that we have a higher high there on like the cusp of November, December. But either way, in 2024, we pushed the upper end of a range higher on a multi-year scale. So looking bullish in 2024, at least early on. Will your stepmom win a new trial on August 9th? Yes or no? I got a no for that, unfortunately, Carolyn. All right, my friends. With that said, thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma, especially with these big trades going on, guys. Counting on you to come through. You do so here on the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, where our angel investors are donating 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities through the click here links, 5% of the profits back to the channel here through one of these, and spending that 90% left over out of love. As long as they follow those rules, universe will send it back to you tenfold through this channel. All right, my friends, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great weekend.